Greetings YouTube, and welcome to my next crafting video. And this is not going to be a weapons build. Okay, so this is my apron. This is a leather apron. I got a leather apron because I used to have a canvas apron and I burned a hole through it and I set myself on fire. I've actually set myself on fire more than once. So I put a leather panel on my canvas apron and that worked, but it wasn't perfect because it was just a leather panel. I think I had that apron. Yeah, here it is, right here. So here's the leather apron. Here's the leather panel on the apron. But that didn't work all that well, and I was still getting sparks and burns beyond that. So my wife got me a leather apron, which is wonderful of her. She is very concerned about my safety. But you can see I've done significant damage to this thing. I have literally burned the leather. I have not gone through the leather, thankfully, but I have burned through the threads, which is why this gap is here. So that means that not only am I not getting any protection, not only am I damaged this, but I'm not getting protection because this means that sparks can go in through there, and then traps them between this thing and my body. Not an ideal situation. And you can see the burn marks really start at this line here. That's just dust. Start here and they go all the way down to here. So I'm covered essentially from this seam to that seam is where sparks are hitting. So I need to armor this. I need to make this a much stronger situation than I have. And I don't have the I can't at this point in time, I cannot afford to go get myself fireproof aprons, or I don't even know what the heck it would be called. I mean, I know welding gear out there, but I don't know what the welding gear is treated with. But I need something that can handle a lot of sparks, because I put myself under a situation where I am constantly being showered with sparks when I'm using my angle grinder. And because I often have to get very close to the thing I'm working with, because it's tight cuts and things like that, so I have to be close to it, so I'm not holding the thing, my angle grinder at arm's length. I'm holding it close to my body, just like I am holding this camera close to my body for stability. And I'm holding the angle grinder the same way for that same reason. So I have this piece of sheet metal. I actually have 3 pieces of this sheet metal. It's a pretty big piece of sheet metal. I have 3 pieces of this, and originally they were, I believe, from a drum. They would be joined together with these flanges on the outside to create a drum. And I believe the drum was part of some old school printing process, like 70s era. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I got these for nothing. They were offered on Craigslist free. I picked them up as well as a rectangular piece which has a cutout in it, which is a little heavier gauge. But this is going to give me the material I need for this project. And it's thick enough that I don't think I'm going to need to bend. I'm going to check it out and see how happy I am with this. I may bend it over to make a reinforcement, but I kind of don't want it reinforced. I kind of want it to have a certain level of flexibility, because I really ideally only want to join it at the top and at the bottom. I don't want to join it at the sides at all. I want it to be able to flex this way, as well as have a little bit of flex this way. So ideally, I would do the corners. Boom, boom, boom. I think those are the, I'll obviously, since I'm going to make a square or a rectangle, I'll make it come like this. So it'll be just below these pockets. I actually don't really use those pockets, but there's pockets in the inside. Just below the pockets, down here or in the single, not just above where the seam is, and then up here just below where the seam is, and make a rectangle. So I need to cut this, and I'm not sure what the best method for cutting this is. Maybe my angle grinder, because it's probably the fastest, or a pair of shears, which would probably be tedious because I don't have power shears, and quite frankly my hands are not in great shape, so maybe I'll just use my angle grinder. That may be the fastest, and then clean it up on the belt sander to make it look nice and neat and tidy. Radius the corners so there's no sharpness on them, then drill 4 holes at least 4 holes, and I probably don't. This down here isn't a concern to me, so only 2 on this end makes sense. But I think I may do 4 up here, so 1 on each quarter, and then 1 on either side of this center of the seam, probably evenly, just because I'm a little bit anal. And so set them up evenly, and that way they'll have a little bit more seal up here, and again down here I don't care, because the sparks will hopefully be going that way. And this means that the sparks are going to hit, and the sparks are going to hit metal, and the sparks are not going to go through that. So ironically, put this on because I need some protection until I can get this project done. I think I am, however, I may slap some duct tape on that just to cover it up on the inside. So slap some duct tape on it just to cover the gap, so I'm not getting sparks through the gap today. And then get this thing measured, get it cut, and get it drilled. Drilling's going to be easy. This is, again, it's just really, it's sheet metal. It's real thin. And I'll be using, I think I can get it, like they used 2-part rivets on these things, so I think I have some 2-part rivets. So I'm going to go see if I can find my 2-part rivets. If I can find my 2-part rivets, I'll have to figure out what diameter those are, because I don't remember off the top of my head. And then drill the holes, and I probably will just drill through this with a drill. I don't see any reason, I don't even reason to get punches out. It's just leather, and I'll be done. And rivet it together and be done. Hopefully a fast project, and hopefully protect me better in the future from sparks, because that's a major issue in my life. As you can see, I am putting myself under significant spark risk every single time I do one of my metal projects. So the first thing I did after putting on my apron was to lay this out, clamp it down onto my workbench. This is the workbench I made, and I'm going to now cut along that line to get this out of the way. Once I have that out of the way, then I can cut the measure and cut the piece of material I actually need. I just don't need this in my way. And it ends up being exactly 20 inches by 20 inches. I don't know why, but that's the size I need. And I was able to set up that line nice and square with a drywall T-square. These are very handy. I don't actually cut drywall. I've never cut drywall in my life. But I do find these quite useful on some of my projects because they're a nice big T-square. Gives me 4 feet of material, of length to work with, as well as measurements on this side, so it's incredibly handy. I lucked out. I got 2 of these things for $5 at a yard sale. If anyone I know ever needs one, I can give them one. I still have 2, but I highly recommend you keep one of these in your shop, even if you don't use drywall, because there'll be times when you need a big T-square, and this is the best way to get one. So here we have my 20 by 20 square laid out, and going with the angle grinder was the right idea. This stuff cuts like butter. I mean, it's like there's almost no resistance. It's really quite pleasant. So now I'm going to cut out this, and when I'm finished, I will have this nice piece of left over, and I'll find some use for it. I mean, it's still perfectly usable sheet metal, just for another project. But this is going to give me such a nice protection. I can't wait to get this thing installed. Not to mention it's going to be intriguing to watch the paint, to see the paint react to the sparks. That's going to be fun. So I've laid out all my locations. They are now I've put them in, used a nail set or a marking tool. So there's a little divot. I've rounded all my corners, and now I am going to use a drill bit, which I can't remember the size of it, but it's 140 thousandths in diameter, because that's the diameter of my 2-part rivets, which I did happen to find. They were upstairs. I thought they were in a bag with this, because the first time I think I used these was to make a bag for going to flea markets and thrift shops and such, and so I had to cut off some from the handles, and I just put them in the bag and never took them out. I may just throw those away because I really don't think I have any use for those handles. But I do have a use for these 2-part rivets. So now I'm going to go drill the 6 holes I need. Then I'm going to have to lay this out on top of the apron, and then go about drilling the holes with a hand drill, and then putting in the rivets. And I'm probably going to have to do that one at a time, because I need to clamp things in place so the stuff doesn't move, because once you clamp these together, they're not coming apart. So it's a one-way process. So the next step you'll see, hopefully, will be me all nice and armored. Well, there we go. I'm armored. It's not particularly thick, but it is going to give me the protection I need. I think I'm going to turn these in. I'm going to bend this whole section in a little bit when I get back downstairs. But I'm okay with this. The center ridge working quite nicely for me. This actually hit the seam on this pocket. I don't really care. I don't think I've ever used either of these things. So that's not a big loss. And if I really want to clip a pen on something, I have an entire ridge to clip a pen on now. So that isn't a big issue. But yeah, now the sparks can't hurt me. So it's kind of weird that I had to go this far, but I had to do something because I got tired of getting burned. So now the sparks hit here, they go elsewhere. I am going to be interested in see how this paint surface takes a beating. Now I could have turned it over and used the other side, but the other side was not perfectly silver because I guess the paint process they used for this had a lot of overspray. So the other side even looked more uneven. This at least this is one solid color. So that's why I chose to use this one. So yeah, there you go, folks. One armored apron. I know it's a little extreme, a little weird, but I'm tired of getting burned, and I'm tired of burning through things. So there you have it. So thanks for being here. I appreciate your coming to my site, watching my crafting videos. And if you haven't followed me on DeviantArt and on Instagram, you should. It's where I post my permanent images for my crafting, and Instagram is where I put bargains and sneak previews and salvage, as well as cute cat pictures, and who doesn't love a cute cat picture? So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hope you come back for the next one.